Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Rakhi Gupta. Welcome to my module on managing human resource or human resource management. As I keep telling every now and then, before I go start with a new topic, I would like to give you a recap as to what we did in the last one. In the last lecture, I spoke things related with the labor turnover and absenteeism. So I hope the concepts of labor turnover and absenteeism, they are quite clear to you. Absenteeism is nothing but basically when people absent themselves from the work, and labor turnover is the rate at which new people are joining the organization and the old ones, they are leaving the organization. So in the last lecture, we discussed a lot of things related to that. Now today what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about another very important topic, as I keep telling you every now and then. Now today's topic that is related to, or the deliberations will be on industrial accident and VRS, that is the voluntary retirement scheme. So let's go ahead and check out what are the different aspects of industrial accidents. So we know that any kind of accident is basically a sudden and unexpected occurrence in the industry, which actually interrupts the orderly progress of the work. Or we can say that any kind of accident or industrial accident is an accident which is actually suffered by a person during the course of employment, and the accident may be caused by the execution of the work in an unsafe manner, or it may be because of the faulty equipment or so on and so forth. So naturally, according to Factories Act of 1948, it is an occurrence in an industrial establishment causing bodily injury to a person who makes him unfit to rejoin his duties in the next 48 hours. So naturally, according to this act, anyone who has suffered any kind of injury and the person is incapacitated to join the work in the next 48 hours is regarded as an industrial accident, and it's definitely an occurrence which interrupts or interferes the progress of the work. Now, two more important words associated with the accident is unplanned and uncontrolled. Naturally, nobody would like to have any kind of accident, because accident is basically a negative word which is actually bringing lot of cause and injury and pain to the people who are involved. So definitely at any point of time, my dear friends, accidents, they are not at all entertained, and it may be or there may be number of reasons as to why industrial accidents take place. I will be talking about that in my next slide. So naturally, we see that at times they can be social environment, personal causes, unsafe conditions that can lead to accident, and ultimate the outcome of accident is injury, and whenever there is injury, it will bring pain and sadness to people. Now, my dear friends, this is the causes of, these are the causes of industrial accident. This is again from my own book of HRM by Dr. Rakhi Gupta. So these accidents, they can be because of number of reasons. For example, they can be some kind of human error, some kind of defects, sociological factors, or maybe personality factors, or human causes, individual causes, psychological factors, or maybe environmental causes. So whichever cause it is, whether the accident has been caused because of any reason, ultimately it will hamper individuals' productivity as well as the productivity of the organization also. And it says that at times the psychologists are also concerned with the aspects of accident as to why they are caused, and lot of research has been done in finding out the causes and how we can actually control these accidents through proper selection, training, or maybe education given to the employees, and there can be number of other factors. So let's go and check out the different factors. So let's take the first one, the human error. Now, human error is like why people are not concentrating, maybe because or why they are coming to the accident is reason being they are being very careless, no proper equipments, no proper safety measures, violations, deliberate deviations from the rules for operation. So now when we talk about the human error, my dear friends, is like anything which was because of your own self. For example, if you are not taking care, or you are neglecting the work, or you are being very careless, or you do not have the equipment, safety equipment. Even if you have the safety equipment, you are not wearing it. At times there are certain deviations. For example, even if the management is giving you to take up the precautionary steps and the employee or the worker, they fail to do that, then definitely it results into accidents. So human error is all related with the carelessness or any kind of missing of the safety equipment, or maybe the deviations from following the standard operating procedures. Then there can be some defects in the manufacturing only. So there are causes related with the manufacturing. For example, faulty design. Supposing if the machinery is not properly made, there are some manufacturing defects in the machinery only, or it is a bad equipment, or it has been badly installed, lack of maintenance. Now, my dear friends, lack of maintenance is one of the most common causes of the industrial accidents, because the management, they always try to cut corners, as we have been talking of since long, and they would not like to maintain the machinery because they have to spend money. So naturally, there are certain deadlines within which it is mandatory for the machinery to be greased or looked upon, or the faulty things they have to be repaired, something like that. But management, they don't pay that much of focus, so they become callous towards this, and because of these badly maintained machinery, or faulty design, or faulty maintenance, or the installation part, it can cost heavily to an employee. Then, for example, lack of safety audits, no fencing of the dangerous machines, overcrowding. Now, overcrowding of the machine is like where 2 people are required, for example, 5 or 6 of them they are working. Then inflammable material, they are very, very hazardous, they are very, very risky. If they are not taken care properly, then again it's a big problem for everyone who's around that kind of machinery or within that premises. So it says that any kind of hot poisonous material is kept unattended, or it is not properly covered, or maybe the precaution or the safety banners are not put on the wall, or no safety guards are being provided, then of course this is one of the causes of the accident. And naturally, at any point of time, what we can say from the manufacturing defects is that it is all related with the organization. So the conditions of work, they become unsafe, and there are certain unsafe acts on the parts of the employees also. But here, since it's all related with the machinery part, so naturally the management take cognizance of it. So any kind of unsafe conditions related with the, we just talked about the defective equipment, or maybe the dangerous procedure or dangerous materials are there. There are unsafe storage, or maybe the overloading or the congestion part, or maybe the safety devices, they are not sufficient in number. Maybe the layout is bad enough. Maybe there is insufficient light. There can be improper ventilation, or the equipment is very badly maintained or installed, or poor housekeeping. So these are the factors which are actually responsible for the causes of accident. So this was all related to that. Then the sociological factors, for example, the size of the family, number of dependents, financial position, social status, interpersonal environment. So here it says that here in the case of size of the family, for example, the person is not able to maintain the work-life balance, and the size of family is very huge, and maybe the kind of remuneration or the money or the wages which is being paid to the worker, it is not good enough to maintain that kind of mental status or a standard of living. So because of that, there is lack of focus, and when there is lack of focus, definitely accidents will take place. Then number of dependents or the financial position. So naturally, financial position is one of the cause of concern for the workers, and the high stress levels. So whenever there are high stress levels, people are not able to concentrate in any regard. Then we've got social status, and interpersonal environment is not good enough. People are not given proper treatment. Maybe this is all more or less psychological, where people at times they feel that okay, the management is not good enough. This unsympathetic attitude, that's what we did in the labor turnover part also. So these are the factors which will definitely involve into this. They will be responsible for the accidents. Then personality factors, IQ level, or emotional maturity, anxiety level, adjustment, fear, nervousness. So these are the things which are all personal. So they are all related to the individual. So if the individual is not good enough, or maybe the person's maturity level is not that good enough to work on a specific machine, or maybe the person anxiety level is high, maybe when the person is exposed to any kind of hazardous items or machinery, the person's anxiety level, they go up, or maybe the person having some kind of fear behavior or maybe adjustment problems. So, these are the things which are on the part of an individual. So, personal characteristics also influence accident behaviors of individuals. So, as I told you, like it's all related with the maturity level, fear factor, anxiety level, and then of course all these things will definitely be a kind of or they will be contributing towards the creation of a certain kind of behavior, or they will be creating that kind of tendencies towards a specific task, and of course it will definitely lead to the undesirable attitudes. So, this is very important. Then the individual factors, for example, it is all related with age, sex, marriage, education, health, work, performance, faulty sleepings, inexperience, physical defects, drinking, all these things. So, this is again all related to individual. For example, if the young or untrained or new workers, they are more prone to accident if they are exposed to heavy machinery, for example. So, in heavy machinery, more experienced employees, they should have been deployed. Then, for example, marriages or education, people are not good enough, they do not understand the safety rules, they do not understand the importance of having that safety equipments, or maybe their health is not permitting them to work in an environment, but still they are working. There are heavy pressure, work pressures, faulty sleepings. Supposing if they are late or they are awake till late in the morning, so naturally they will not be able to concentrate on the work, and as a result of that, or maybe because of the carelessness, or maybe because of the neglect, they are prone to the accidents. So, this is also very important. So, because of these individual factors also, the frequency of the accident can go up, and there can be lot of tensions between the management and the workers, which can actually be very, very aggressive and negative, and naturally nobody would like to have that kind of those things. Then anything related with drinking and family problems, when in other words we say that the person is misfit for a particular job, and when the person is asked to do that, at that point of time these accidents are more frequent, and naturally at times the unmarried employees, they generally have more accidents than the married employees, so on and so forth. So, definitely what I can say is that every organization should formulate and implement a very, very important and a rigorous safety policy, and whether it is the individual factors or maybe the personality factors or maybe the manufacturing defects, they should be actually covered, so that nobody suffers at the cost of it. Then the psychological factors, overwork, people are not able to concentrate, attitude towards the job is bad, interest difficulties, maybe misfit, wrong person at the wrong place, this fatigue, every time person they are becoming very tired of doing the repetitive jobs, and then because as a result of that they come to the accidents. Then machine habits, monotony, mental disorder and fear. So, because of these individual factors, it is definitely affecting the psychology of the individuals also, and as a result there is lack of attention. So, when people are not attentive to the details or maybe to the rules and regulation, so naturally they may fall prey to accident, and which is again I told you which is not at all acceptable. So, the protection of the people and the organization is of paramount importance, and there can be n number of prolific sources of accidents which we are just discussing. Then environmental causes, for example, overcrowding, illumination, there is insufficient light for people to work on, and management is not taking cognizance of this, or we can say that there is working condition is not conducive for people to work. So, illumination is all related with lighting part, pressure, there is lot of work pressure, ventilation pressure, it can be in terms of the machines also, for example, heavy machines, or ventilation, there is no proper ventilation, for example, there is no exit of fumes, or maybe overcrowding is there. So, naturally it will affect the focus level of the people, and as soon as the focus level of the people is gone, the accidents are very, very common thing. Then temperature, or maybe the speed of work and hours of work. So, when it is the speed of work, it is always desirable that the speed limits should be mentioned. So, if speed limits are not mentioned and people are going and working beyond that speed, so definitely it will result in the accident. Or we can say that for example in the environmental causes also, that there can be unsafe working conditions where we have very poor maintained facilities and very cluttered workspaces. So this is very essential. Then workload spread over work period, noise, vibration, slippery floors. Now this is another very important cause, slippery floors. For example, there are certain processes which are being carried out and the byproducts are there, or maybe the water is there, or maybe the material is falling on the floor and there is no proper arrangement of the lifting of those materials. So the floors become very slippery, and as a result anybody can fall prey to it, and accidents are very common. So in a nutshell, we know that there can be n number of factors which are responsible, that can be on the individual level, on the organizational level, or on the machine level. So whichever way it is, we have to bear in mind that it is not at all desirable, and definitely anyone who is there in the organization. So accidents is not a very small issue, it is something very weird. So at times there can be grave repercussions of it, and there can be a minor injury also. So whether it's a minor injury or a major injury, they have to be avoided. So industrial accidents, they are basically avoidable, but they require awareness of proper safety protocols by both the management as well as the employees. So if safety protocols they are followed, I am sure these accidents, they will not be there. So whether it's all the environmental, maybe the at times like low visibility, or air pollution is there, sound pollution is there, or we just talked about the mechanical causes, or the machinery causes, or the manufacturing causes. So anything which is there, maybe the default is there, maintenance problem is there, or maybe the wear and tear, obsolescence machinery is there, all these things, they will definitely lead to accidents. Or anything where the body is not properly functioning, there is no proper housekeeping, there is a lot of fatigue, over exertion, there is a lot of stress level, or maybe improper lifting or of the waste material on the floors. So definitely these things are not at all desirable. So my dear friends, we know what is the meaning of industrial accidents, and of course there can be different types of accidents, the internal and external. It can be major accident and minor accident. So when we talk about the major accident, the biggest end limit is the death. A person can succumb to death because of any accident, whereas in the major there can be some kind of disability, it can be loss of efficiency. So this loss of efficiency, it can be temporary and permanent. So if it is temporary, it can be partial. For example, you have just broken one finger and total is maybe, for example, you have broken one finger, or maybe you have hit your bone in some way or the other, but that can be cured. Whereas in the case of permanent, for example, partial and total, for example, you have lost one hand, or the person has lost both the legs. So that happens to be a kind of a permanent disability. So any kind of accident, because of any reasons, they are not at all entertained, and they are preventable, and hence it is required that the proper safety measures, they should be taken care of. So there are certain tips, or there are certain ways to overcome the accidents. For example, there have to be some proper safety measures, they have to be adopted. So in other words, what we can say is there should be some type of protocols. So there should be some proper protocols that should be there, and they should be strictly followed by the management as well as the workers. And above all, there should be proper selection of the employees. It is essential that the right person is there for the right job, and with the requisite skills. So for example, we just discussed the age of the person, or the talent, or the maturity level, or the emotional quotient. So all these things, they will result in the accidents. So in order to avoid such kind of things, so we have to take into consideration that the right person is selected for the right kind of job with the requisite talent. So as I told you that accidents, they can be of different types also. So whether it is grave or minor, it will bring injury. So this injury can be of any kind. So it can be a bone fracture, or a pull, or for example, as I told you that one can lose the hand, one can lose the legs. So of course any kind of accident, it can be fatal. or it cannot be fatal, but of course it is going to cause us injury. So, we need to take proper care that we can overcome them. Then there should be proper advertisement, absolutely proper advertisement. For example, safety rules should be mentioned at different places of the factory, and people, they should be aware, they should read, and they should follow those rules and regulation or advertisements, or they should follow those safety protocols. Then strict action should be taken against the people who violate it. Now, we say that strict action should be taken against the one who violate the safety norm. This is very, very essential, because what happens is people who violate the norms, the other will also follow the suit. They feel that, okay, one person is violating, why shouldn't I also violate the rules? So, if a strict action is taken as an act of indiscipline, if you do not follow the safety rules, it will serve as a lesson for others also not to repeat that. And by this, we can actually reduce the rate of accidents in the industry or in an organization. So, this is again the call of the management. Management has to be strict enough to take strict action against the ones who actually violate, and if they let them go, then people take things for granted, and as a result accidents are very common. Then if we are taking strict action against those who are violating, so of course there should be some kind of appreciation for those who are actually following the norms or maintaining those safety protocols. So, some kind of incentives can be given to the people. Then safety programs must be rectified. For example, safety training should be conducted. So, here safety programs must be rectified. For example, in previous, if company has done any kind of programs, they have to identify what were the loopholes or which are the ways by which we can correct them. And safety trainings, they should be actually initiated by the company, and these trainings should provide the people with the knowledge of how to use the machinery, or what are the ways to avoid any kind of accident, which are the places to work, which are the places not to work, if they are working in any of the hazardous positions, and in case of any mishappening, how they should act. So, any kind of training programs, they should always be encouraged by the management, and these training programs will definitely promote a kind of safety awareness with these programs. And of course, for that there can be an internal safety committee also, which can be formed by the management, and these safety committees, they would regularly check what is happening, whether the people are aware, whether there has been a decrease in the accident rate or no, so on and so forth. So, definitely these committees, or they can be some kind of supervisors also, who should keep on monitoring and reporting on the safety measures. And lastly, of course, the next one is machine equipment must be properly maintained. We know that one of the manufacturing defects is like there was obsolescence, or lack of no proper installation, no proper machinery maintenance is there. So, here of course, a system of regular inspection schedule or the mechanism of checking these machinery should be there, and of course, as soon as it is identified, then they should be quickly repaired, and all the defects in the machinery, whether they are broken, whether they are old, whether the installation problem, they should be definitely be reported. And what I personally feel that there should be a kind of a planned maintenance schedule for all that kind of machines, so that can be implemented. For example, it can be on the daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, so on and so forth. So, if this is implemented, then definitely we can avoid a lot of accidents. Then another is, again, as I told you, that the trainings should be there. The policies and the procedures, they have to be reviewed rigorously by the management. Enforcement of the discipline, as I told you, that anyone who is violating, strict action should be taken. Proper inspection and supervise employees. So, we feel that there is a lot of responsibility on the shoulder of the supervisors, that they should go and meet the employees regularly and see if they are uncomfortable in any regard, or if they feel that some kind of training has to be provided to them, or they feel that some kind of safety concerns or self-awareness has to be brought about. So, all those things, they have to be done very quickly. So, supervisors and managers, they have to be on toes all the time. Then we have to use employees' expertise of using it. This will be only possible when people are experienced. So, we do not wish to have inexperienced people in the organization. Offer different types of support. It can be in the form of moral support. There can be some kind of psychological support. We just discussed that there can be some kind of anxiety pangs or the fear factors. So, some kind of counseling can also be done to the employees relating to these aspects, so that these accidents, they can be avoided. avoided. Then proper selection of the people, safety committees, they should be absolutely formed on a very regular interval, and management or maybe the top management, they should take cognizance or they should take regular reports from these committees on the safety part. Then PPP is like personal protection equipment. Should be provided by the management whenever needed. So, if management they fail, naturally accidents are very, very common. Then communication has to be provided that okay, what are the ways in which the accidents they can be avoided. Now, before I proceed with this, I would also like to bring to your cognizance that whenever there are accidents, so these accidents they will bring loss. Loss to whom? They will bring loss to the industry, to the organization, to the worker, to the other stakeholder, and to the society. All of them they will be getting a big hit. If it is in the form of industry, so naturally they will be getting a big hit. Loss to the workers, of course the pain has to be borne by the worker only, and of course beside the economic loss, the worker has to suffer more badly, and especially in the case of his death, his family has no one to help. So, this is very, very crucial. Loss to the customers, consumers, or loss to the society also. So, definitely we can say that there can be some kind of direct cost and indirect cost also that can be incurred. So, ideally the most desirable situation is that we should avoid accidents at any cost, because there is a cost of lost time, there is a cost of medical aid, there is cost of recruitment, there is cost of compensation, there is cost due to damage to the machines, the tools, the property, and of course the cost to the employee above all. So, this is very, very important that we need to get the support of the management also, and of course the individual, they should be very, very careful when they are working on very heavy machinery, and they should ideally follow the safety protocols. The next topic that I am going to talk about is, my dear friends, is known as the voluntary retirement scheme, that is a VRS. VRS is also known as a golden handshake, and in this case the person has an opportunity to take retirement at an early stage. So, this is a scheme which is actually offered by the companies to the employees. The employee can voluntarily end the period of service, and then there are certain benefits also, or we call it as an early retirement, or this is also known as golden handshake. You are shaking hands with the company. So, what is the eligibility criteria for a VRS? Of course, one has to fit in for the criteria, and it's like the criteria is like the employee should have been working for more than 10 years, should be 40 years of age, and they can attain or avail the services of VRS, but except for the directors. So, features of VRS is it's a pre-negotiated scheme, like in hand we are shaking hands with the management that okay, I would like to take VRS, voluntary retirement, and then the benefits and whatever the procedure is, that procedure has to get in action. Then it is it is applied, as I told you, minimum 10 years of service, above 40 years. This is one of the ways of reduction of staff. Now, this reduction of staff, it could be because of n number of reasons. For example, if the company is willing to shut down, or if there is lockout, or if the company is running in losses, so on and so forth. So, naturally it says that the amount paid to the people on account of VRS is actually tax free, and if any gratuity or provident gratuity, gratuity and provident fund is due, then that is also payable in the case of VRS. Now, we know that what is the meaning of VRS. Let's understand what are the advantages and disadvantages. This is again a chart from my book. People, they get a lump sum amount at the time of VRS. It's a tax benefit, tax free money, and at any point of time is any type of gratuity or provident fund is there, they will be getting that, and it's a call of the people whether they apply for the VRS or no, and of course it can enhance the lifestyle of the person, because they get a lot of money at one go. Then disadvantages is like people may be depressed because they know that they have got more number of years to work and they are taking VRS. They may not get that much of money at the present time as they would get if they would have been working. So the people, there's a kind of depression, there's kind of insecurity, and of course they're the most efficient and productive employees, they can actually leave the organization, and it results in the high cost because lump sum money has to be paid to the workers. Now the question is, why VRS? So it could be due to the succession, need to reduce the labor cost to control the total cost. So this is, cost is one of the most important aspect, and need for the downsizing. The company feels that there are too many people working in the organization, they need to cut the people. Then it's, why are we doing the downsizing? So it can be because of the joint venture of the company with other company, because of the takeovers and the mergers. So naturally we do not require that many number of people to work in the organization, or because due to the surplus workforce, and the company doesn't want to bring a bad name to the organization, so they do not want to terminate the people from the job, so they give the option of VRS. And then they feel that they need to adjust themselves to the latest technology, then also that kind of action can be taken by the management. Now, in the case of VRS also, it's like there is some kind of information that should be given in the VRS circular. The circular is circulated by the management amongst the workers, and it is expected that, of course, everyone is not given the option of VRS. So again, it is a call of the management to take a decision who are the people who will be given the facility of getting retired at an early stage. So it says that if in the circular also, the information is like related to reasons for the right sizing, or what is the eligibility criteria, as we just discussed, 10 years of the service and above 40 years the person should be there. So a lot of information has to be sent. Then what are the benefits for the employees? So if any employee is taking the VRS, then what kind of benefit the person will get accrued to, or whether in terms of monthly salary, or maybe annual salary, or maybe the lump sum amount, or then the right of an employee in case if a person gets VRS, then what are the rights that the person is entitled, or when the application is opening, when the application is closing. And of course we know that the money which we get as a part of VRS, partially money is actually tax free. So the statement of the income tax benefit also has to be attached to it, and approval from the government, because naturally we are always looking at the full employment rate. So if anyone is getting VRS, so the person will be deprived of the job. So we have to understand, we have to take the permission from the government also. We have to understand if there is any kind of involvement of the trade unions. We know that trade unions, they are very, very powerful. They keep on negotiating the various terms of employment with the management. So naturally they have to take into cognizance. We cannot bypass the importance of the trade unions, because they can resort. So again, there can be some kind of industrial unrest, and there will be no peace and no democracy. All those things, they will follow here. Then offer mediation. At times the mediation is also offered to the employees. The choice is given to them whether they want to go for the VRS or whether they don't want to go for the VRS. So at times we also know that there are different reasons of giving the VRS, as we talk about the downsizing, or maybe people feel that okay, there would be better growth opportunities that the employee can get elsewhere. There can be some kind of personal factors, or at times employees they feel that because of the globalization, or maybe because of the technological advancement, they would be needing less people in the company. So they feel okay, that kind of an offer can be made to the people. Or if there is too much of staff competition, or if there is too much of eyeball to eyeball competition, the companies are either going for the mergers or takeovers, as we just discussed. So they feel for the benefit of the workers only. And lastly, we know that there are certain advantages and certain disadvantages of VRS. So naturally, the counseling sessions, they have to be arranged by the management to counsel the people who feel more demotivated, or those who feel depressed as a result of taking VRS. And on the other hand, there can be few people who will be very happy with the VRS, because they know that they can always encash or leverage their skills somewhere outside, and they can earn more money. So there can be different reasons as to why VRS we are going for the VRS. So at times there is a thirst for compulsion for people to take up the VRS, and other times there can be, on the other hand, that every employee feels that there would be more growth and development opportunity in some other organization, or maybe this growth and development opportunities, they are not available in their current organization. Or at times there can be certain personal factors also, like health, old age, or maybe the loss of efficiency, which can force or compel a person to make a golden handshake with the organization, thereby benefiting both of them. So when people are doing it, so naturally they are happy. So we also know that in the case of VRS, there is lot of monetary benefits that a person gets, and of course at times people feel that there can be, it's a kind of a personal responsibility of an individual to leverage their skills, maybe not in this organization, maybe in another organization. So they are more ambitious of the growth opportunities, and of course they feel that they are getting lot of money in a lump sum amount. So that is why they go for the VRS. And of course, so VRS is basically nothing but it's just the employee separation, and at times that VRS brings benefit to both the parties. So thank you so much for watching this video. So we just discovered the few concepts related with the VRS and the industrial accident. So people who are the part of the management, they have to be very, very careful that their people are safe and secure in the environment in which they are working, and the best possible efforts are being made by the management to avoid any kind of accidents, because whenever there are accidents, it will cost very, very heavily to the workers also, and to the organization also. So no one would like to have any kind of accidents. So stay safe, be very careful not to have any kind of accidents in life. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for the next one.